You ever wake up and feel like the world is getting louder, but somehow you are getting quieter? Like your soul is whispering from a soundproof room, and right behind that wall, you can sense God is there. But that drywall is about 12 inches thick, and the insulation is fear, noise, history, the crowd, and your own inherited disbelief. If that's you, if you're feeling this, let me give it to you straight. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're not losing connection. You are, however, living in an atomic war of consciousness, and your soul is catching shrapnel. So today, tonight, together, we're going to break this open and talk about why. Now, look, let me get the obvious out the way. You know I read. You know I study. You know I'm in constant conversation with source starting at 3 a.m. when the house is real quiet and the world's finally stopped screaming loud enough for God to say one sentence. I need that time, right? But the thing that hit me hardest this week was a collision. And this collision, oh boy, this was between the chart I showed you last episode. I'll post it here real quick for reference. The biology of belief research, the crowd psychology doctrines we built, the Bible code warnings, and your lived experience. And in this collision, I realized most people aren't losing themselves. They are being erased slowly, quietly, generationally. And it's not by tragedy, not by failure, not by evil, but by forgetfulness. You see, a soul can survive pain, but it's forgetfulness that kills it. Now, this isn't just spiritual talk. This isn't me waxing poetic. This is system. This is biology. This is neuroscience. This is crowd mechanics. This is inheritance, consciousness. This is environmental epigenetics. So let me break this down. Not in myth, but in mechanism. Because once you see the system, you can break the system. Now, in biology of belief, Bruce Lipton, he proved this. Your perception controls your biology. Hear that. Your perception controls your biology, not your genetics, not your circumstances, not your IQ you're proud of, not that degree, not your childhood zip code. Perception. Meaning your cells, the trillions of them, take instructions from your beliefs. Your immune system reacts to your interpretation of the world. Your stress hormones respond to the story you believe, not the situation you are in. Your DNA literally changes its expression based on your internal reality. And when you combine that with the chart from the last episode, you suddenly see the cruel symmetry. Generational poverty isn't just financial. Generational trauma isn't just emotional. Generational limitation isn't just cultural. It is biological, neurological, conscious coded, environmentally reinforced. You see, kids raised in fear inherit biology calibrated for danger. Kids raised in scarcity inherit minds calibrated for limitation. Kids raised in chaos inherit nervous systems calibrated for survival. And that is why the chart looked and looks the way it did and does. That's why adulthood feels predictable. That's why you keep repeating patterns you say you hate. Your childhood didn't just shape you, it installed you. And now you're scrambling, trying to outrun a blueprint you didn't choose. And so now here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Your soul is starving. Starving for connection, starving for coherence, starving for a signal stronger than your history. And the world keeps feeding you crowd noise, when what you need is God's frequency. And so now that brings us to the second half, because science explains the biology, but consciousness explains the war. And there's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. Ooh, all right. There's a line in the Bible code. It's not about religion, but about signal and sequence. They warned that entire nations can collapse, not because of bombs, but because of misaligned leadership and collective disconnection. You see, consciousness collapses the very same way. So watch it now. Here's the system in 5 steps. 1, souls are born in light. Every infant arrives with full remembrance. That is pure connection. No ego, no crowd, no fear-based imprint, just pure light. 2, life begins to slow fade. Slowly, we drift from light to confusion as fear replaces presence and noise replaces knowing. 3, the crowd finishes the job. Crowds dilute faith. Crowds erase identity. Crowds reward conformity. Crowds punish remembrance. Le Bon, Jung, Gerard, the neuroscience, they all say the same thing. And it goes like this. The crowd thinks for you as long as you let it. And the moment you think with the crowd, instead of thinking with your soul and from your soul, you lose altitude, you lose autonomy, you lose access to source, God, the infinite. 4, the soul begins to isolate. Biology of belief proves it. Social isolation destroys health. Loneliness rewires immunity. Lack of connection weakens the nervous system. Lack of meaning depresses gene expression. 5, consciousness goes nuclear. Inside of you, a war starts between the child you were, the adult you became, the soul you abandoned, and the God trying to call you back. And that is the atomic war, not explosions, not fire, not apocalypse. Just quiet, steady, daily forgetfulness. Heavy, 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 heavy. I know. So let me ask you something real. Has your soul been quiet or just buried under noise? Has your life been full or just crowded? Has your mind been active or just overstimulated? Has your growth been intentional or just accidental survival? Has your consciousness been expanding or has it been glitching under the weight of inherited belief? Have you been remembering who you are or repeating what you were taught to be? We ain't done. Because most importantly, are you living from the light you were born with or the fear you inherited? Take a moment and be real. Because the moment you pause long enough to hear your real voice, not your timeline, not your family system, not your trauma, certainly not the crowd, you will realize you were never disconnected. You were just surrounded. So take a breath, because if everything I just described feels familiar, and I've been there, you're not behind, you're not weak. You're the best place you could be because you're awake. And this is the moment the soul says, I can't live inside the blueprint anymore. So let's pull this back into your hands, because none of this, the science, the spirit, the sociology, the war, none of it means a thing if you can't use it tomorrow when the world tries to put you back in the old script. So you better believe it, baby. It's that time to do you. So let's do you, and let's do you together. 5 moves, 1 consciousness, faith meets functionality. And there's a war going on outside. You understand? Let's start with disrupt. You're going to want to break the forgetfulness. Write down the places where your soul went quiet. That is where the war began. Disrupt that. Then you want to own it. Claim your signal. Your biology responds to your belief. You have the right to rewrite the code. It is your code. Own it. Then you want to yield. Drop the crowd's permission slip. Stop asking the world to authorize your breakthrough. It's never going to. Then you want to observe. Study your internal war. Where do you shrink? Where do you disappear? Where do you obey patterns that don't belong to you? Observe that. Then you want to unleash. Move like light remembers you, because it does. Act as if your soul never forgot who you are, because it didn't. You just stopped listening. So look at me and hear me. You are not losing connection, you're re-entering it. This isn't the collapse of your identity, it is the return to it. And those are your 5 moves. That's 1 consciousness. My beautiful community of influencers. In our final moments together, let me be the reminder. You were born in light. You drifted into noise. But you are finding your way home. You are not your inherited beliefs. You are not your epigenetic ceiling. You are not the cloud's reflection. You are God's remembrance. You are the signal breaking through the static. You are the soul remembering itself at full volume. So change your perception, change your biology, change your belief, change your destiny. It's that influence. BYB, bring you back. BGB, bring God back, because you own it. Or be owned by it. You either run the system, or the system runs you. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Do you and stay rich.